A man spending his 40th birthday alone faces unexpected trouble when he lets two lost women into his lavish home. While their children spend time in San Diego with their grandmother, George Manning, a prosperous businessman, enjoys a game of croquet with his wife Karen in San Francisco. They also own an elegant white pet cat, who's also in their backyard observing their game. Following the woman's victory, the couple exchanges a passionate kiss and spends a night savoring wine together. Suddenly, their private moment is interrupted by a ringing phone. The woman answers, finding out that their son Billy requires immediate hospitalization for an appendix removal. The following day, which turns out to be George's 40th birthday, Karen decides to fly to San Diego to be with their ill son, leaving her husband home alone. Later during the stormy night, the businessman speaks with his wife on the phone when he suddenly hears the doorbell. Upon opening the door, he encounters two women, Donna and Jackson, soaked from the rain. They explain that they're lost and searching for someone named Gregory in the neighborhood. Upon hearing this, George confesses that he cannot assist them as he is unfamiliar with the man they seek. Nevertheless, the ladies request entry to use the phone. While Jackson contacts the operator, the businessman leads Donna to the fireplace and extends an offer of pizza, which she declines, mentioning her diet. She then expresses gratitude for his hospitality, considering they're strangers. Not long after, Jackson approaches George asking about his address. Upon learning they're on North Barker Drive, she realizes their error as Gregory lives on South Barker Drive. Recognizing the mistake, she asks if they can stay in his house while waiting for their friend to pick them up. Hearing this, the considerate businessman agrees and later provides them with towels to dry off and hot chocolate to keep them warm. Afterward, they engage in conversation. Learning their names, George comments that they sound like a vaudeville team. The duo remarks that they can be considered one because they tend to do fun things together. The businessman then clarifies if the woman's first name is Jackson, but she reveals that Jackson is her last name and her first name is Agatha. As their conversation progresses, George mentions that it's his birthday, piquing Donna's curiosity about why he's spending it alone. In response, the businessman reveals that his wife had to fly to San Diego to be with their sick son. Shortly after, the ladies notice his stereo recorder and albums, leading the wealthy man to share that he started collecting them as a kid. Upon hearing this, Donna immediately assumes he's rich because she knows the albums cost a fortune. Following this, Jackson goes to the bathroom, leaving Donna alone with the businessman. Suddenly, the blonde woman asks him to touch her hair to assess if it's dry. He then holds a chunk of it, informing her it's damp. Following that, Donna compliments George, noting that he gives off good vibes, which flatters him. Subsequently, the businessman inquires about her musical preferences, and the woman responds that she listens to everything but has a particular fondness for rock music. Upon learning this, George plays an album for her, hoping she enjoys the lovely sound. Soon after, Jackson arrives and expresses amazement at the bathroom's appearance. Intrigued, Donna asks to see it, prompting her friend to take her there. Upon entering the lavish bathroom, the duo marvels at the large blue tub in the center and then checks the sauna together. Later, the businessman becomes concerned that it's taking them too long. He goes to the bathroom and finds the unclothed ladies in the bathtub. They then invite George to join them. When he mentions that he's married, the persistent women approach him, alluring and coaxing him into spending a romantic time with them. After this incident, Jackson and Donna are in the living room. Donna reveals that she's beginning to develop feelings for the businessman. Concerned that George might catch a cold, she leaves her friend to cover him with a blanket. The following morning, George wakes up surprised. The two ladies are still in the house preparing breakfast for him in the kitchen. Assuming they'd left the previous night, the businessman is perplexed. However, Jackson explains that they chose to stay because he's been kind to them. George asks about their friend who was supposed to pick them up, but they inform him that the person didn't show up. Upon hearing this, the businessman allows them to stay for a while. As George changes his clothes, Donna approaches him, questioning why he's been distant and cold. In response, he rejects her advances, stating that last night was just a casual occurrence and not something serious. At breakfast, George notices that Jackson eats messily with her hands while Donna mixes eggs and pancakes on her plate before consuming them. Curious, he asks if they live together and where they reside, expressing a willingness to give them a ride home. However, Donna clarifies that they don't have a home, and Jackson reveals that their story about finding someone last night wasn't true. Despite this, George insists on giving them a ride to wherever they want to go, prompting laughter from the two women. Jack suggests that she wants to go to Paris, while Donna expresses a desire to stay with him. While they eat, the duo keeps laughing, prompting the man to call them out for their bad table manners, likening them to an alley cat. Upon hearing this, Jackson curses him. George becomes upset, but she takes it back, stating that she was just teasing him. Nevertheless, the agitated businessman commands them to change their clothes. Donna complies with the order but confesses that she dislikes him because he's no longer friendly to her. Left alone at the table, Jackson continues to eat, filling her mouth with food. After feeling full, Jackson rests on the sofa listening to loud music. The businessman enters the living room, noticing his explicit magazine scattered on the floor. Annoyed, he turns off the stereo, but the woman continues to allure and mock him. Suddenly, George hears a sound, prompting him to rush upstairs. He enters the main bedroom where he sees Donna wearing his wife's nightgown. Upset, he demands her to take it off, but she acts immaturely, even stating that she shares the same size as his wife. Hearing this, the businessman grows more annoyed, commanding her to change into her clothes. The woman frowns, saying that she was only trying to look nice for him, but George asserts that the party is over and that she and Jackson should go home. Shortly after, Jackson follows them upstairs and joins Donna in confronting George about his changed behavior towards them after having fun the previous night. However, this only provokes the businessman, who threatens to call the police if they refuse to leave. As George dials the phone, Jackson contends that he'd only face trouble because she and Donna are underage, potentially leading to charges of corruption of minors. To persuade him to drop the call, she explains the potential repercussions, suggesting that he might risk losing his family, friends, and business. Annoyed by the threats, George asks them directly what they want, but they don't answer clearly. Donna responds that she likes him because he's different from the others. Suddenly, he hears the doorbell, prompting Jackson to try to meet the visitor. However, George pushes her back into the chair. Upon opening the door, he meets Mrs. Grossman, their maid. He apologizes for forgetting to cancel her schedule and asks her to return on Thursday. When he returns inside, George continues to deal with the two ladies, who begin to act unruly. Donna plays the piano while Jackson plays the phone's antenna. Jackson then continues to provoke the man, highlighting how swiftly he could lose everything he worked hard for. This remark prompts him to chase her. As the situation intensifies, Donna makes the background music, laughing while observing them. Eventually, George catches Jackson and gently pushes her down onto the sofa. Afterward, the man reaches for the phone to call the police. Suddenly terrified, the lady stops him, declaring their surrender. However, when the rich man tells them to leave, Jackson requests him to give them a ride, prompting him to fulfill their request to get them out of sight. On the road, the duo continues to annoy the driving businessman, prompting him to threaten to pull over and let them walk to their destination if they don't quiet down. Later, George drops the ladies off at the Greyhound bus depot. Finally free from them, the businessman is relieved and returns to his everyday life. As he drives home, he contacts Karen, who informs him she'll be home with their son Billy the next day. Upon arriving at his house, George notices movement from upstairs and rushes to check it out. As he searches for the intruder, he heads to the main bedroom where he is knocked down by Jackson and Donna, who used pepper spray on him. While the rich man is unconscious, the duo tears the bed sheets and uses them to tie him to the bed. Soon, George awakens and finds himself unable to move. Nearby, the two ladies sit in front of the vanity mirror, using Karen's makeup to beautify themselves. Donna then grabs the lipstick to draw a heart on the mirror and writes "Donna loves George" inside it. Unexpectedly, the duo's joyful moment is disrupted by a ringing phone. Jackson answers and tells the caller that George is tied up. Before ending the call, she introduces herself as the businessman's niece from his long-lost brother. Afterward, Donna starts jumping on the bed, prompting the bound George to tell her to stop. When he requests to be untied, the woman gets closer to him. Jackson intervenes, reminding her friend not to release the man. Donna then addresses George as if he's her father, expressing her desire to love him. However, as she repeats these words, she strangely becomes agitated and starts hitting him. Jackson then distracts her by opening the cabinet. Upon spotting nice clothes, she invites her friend to play dress-up. They then start dancing and enjoying themselves. Recognizing that the duo is distracted, the bound man seizes the opportunity to make a call, but Jackson catches and hits him. Afterward, the two ladies continue to wear their chosen outfits, with Jackson sporting a tuxedo hat and a coat while Donna dons a beautiful gown. Following this, the duo pulls the businessman's feet, bringing him downstairs. Upon George's fall, he breaks free and seizes Donna, who merely pushes him down. Subsequently, Jackson takes a vase and smashes it against his head. Later, the duo leaves George on the floor, pouring flour, sauces, and milk on him while singing a Christmas song. After this event, they tie the businessman to the fireplace, where Donna cleans him up. Jackson wakes him up, assuming the role of a judge and declaring that the court is in session. Suddenly, the doorbell rings, startling the woman. Donna admits that it must be the delivery man because she ordered groceries. Upon learning this, George attempts to scream for help, but Jackson promptly stuffs his mouth with cloth. Then she advises her friend to instruct the man to go behind the back. Later, the duo encounters the delivery guy who brings the groceries and places them on the kitchen top. When the man notices their makeup, the women lie, claiming they're having a costume party. Suddenly, George succeeds in removing the cloth from his mouth and screams for help. The courier hears him and goes to the living room, prompting the ladies to attempt to stop him. However, before he can reach the businessman, Jackson hits him with a bludgeon, rendering him unconscious. Following this, the duo gets to put the unfortunate delivery guy inside the fish tank. As George witnesses them doing this, he repeatedly commands them not to proceed, claiming it's a murderous act. Despite this, the women laugh maniacally and execute their plan. Annoyed by the businessman's screams, Jackson stuffs his mouth again with cloth. After acknowledging that the courier is deceased, the ladies put the lid back on the fish tank, and Jackson resumes her mock trial, the state versus George Manning. The acting judge then declares that the defendant is charged with the corruption of minors. Subsequently, Jackson inquires about the defendant's plea. Donna laughs while holding the businessman's cat, asserting that the man couldn't plead because he's gagged. The presiding judge summons the first witness, and Donna steps forward. She recounts meeting George while walking on the streets one day, describing how he opened the door and offered her candy and cookies. She adds that George was initially friendly, but then he tried to kiss her, telling her she was a pretty woman. When she said to him that she needed to go, he wouldn't allow her to. The man started chasing her around the house, but he soon caught her and ripped her blouse, taking advantage of her. Moreover, the witness notes that the man coerced her into making promises and doing unspeakable things, which she refuses to detail. Then, while being a judge, Jackson turns to herself as the second witness. Afterward, the woman calls on the defendant to the witness stand. She removes the cloth from his mouth to allow him to speak. George expresses how he finds the mock trial as a form of insanity. He then instructs Jackson to look at his oldest daughter's photo, asking the acting judge if she ever had a time when she needed her father. In response, the woman reveals that her dad wasn't there around long enough for her to need. Upon hearing this, George emphasizes that his family needs him. However, Jackson questions his sincerity, asking why he didn't think about his family the previous night when he chose to spend a steamy time with them. However, the businessman reasons that what they did has nothing to do with it. Curious, he asks Jackson why she is filled with so much hate. However, she only tells him to shut up because he'll never understand. Afterward, she announces that the court will now recess to deliberate the verdict. While the ladies are contemplating how to end him, George hears them from the living room, making him fear for his life. Desperate to escape, he attempts to reach the phone with his feet. He succeeds, but when he tries to dial a number, Jackson catches him, leading her to slap him. After that, they deliver their verdict, declaring that George is guilty as charged on all accounts and that his life will be terminated at dawn. They then place an hourglass on the table as a reminder that he has only limited time left to live. When he has 5 hours left, Donna plays with the businessman's cat and throws it out of the window. As the countdown continues, the businessman moves his wrists, anticipating that the cloth might loosen, offering a chance for him to break free. Later, as Donna approaches him for a final romantic encounter, he seizes the opportunity to feign submission. Once momentarily free, he swiftly pushes her down and attempts to escape. Regrettably, his plan for freedom fails as Jackson knocks him unconscious by smashing another vase against his head. After tying him up again near the fireplace, the two women head to the kitchen to consume Donna's groceries, leading to a romantic moment between them. Meanwhile, George finds himself traumatized and devastated, hearing the ladies' voices in his head over and over again. When George has 1 hour to live, Donna tries to wake him by trashing the house, but he's too exhausted to open his eyes. As his time is finally up, the duo carries him to the couch, preparing him for termination. Jackson then gets the cleaver and positions it to behead him. She raises her hand, aiming for his neck. However, at the last moment, she releases the weapon, revealing that everything is just a prank. After this, the deranged duo leaves George on the floor. Finally, they exit the house, cackling maniacally. As the distracted women happily walk through the neighborhood, they run to the street, where an accelerating van suddenly strikes them.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.